Hello everyone, this is Don. I'm presenting assignment 9.2, Punctuation Primer Video. In today's video, let's give credit when due. I will discuss how to effectively use quotation marks. According to Wikipedia, and I quote, quotation marks, also known as quotes, are punctuation marks used in pairs and various writing systems to set off direct speech, a quotation, or a phrase. In a famous quote by Stephen King that reads, "Description begins in the writer's imagination, but should finish in the reader's." I will demonstrate how to lead with a quote and how to end with a quote. Leading with a quote. It would read, "Description begins in the writer's imagination, but should finish in the reader's," Stephen King said. When ending with a quote, it would read, "Stephen King said, description begins in the writer's imagination, but should finish in the reader's." In another famous quote by Steve Jobs that reads, "Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow know what you truly want to become." Here are two other examples of how to lead with a quote and how to end with a quote. In the first sentence, leading with a quote, "Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become," Steve Jobs said. Ending with a quote, it would read, "Steve Jobs said, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become." Rules for quoting. Periods and commas. Place periods and commas inside quotation marks. The example below reads, in quotes, "It's a lovely day." End quote, Mary said, "I'm hoping to go running this evening." Rules for quoting continue. Colons and semicolons. Place colons and semicolons outside quotation marks. Mary wrote, quote, "I regret that I am unable to attend the fundraiser," end quote. Her letter, however, included a generous contribution. Rules for quoting. Question marks and exclamation points. Place question marks and exclamation points inside quotation marks. In the example, Mary's first question after class, end quotes, "What is the weather forecast?" It is important to note that you do not place a question mark or exclamation point inside a quote or quotes if they apply to the whole sentence. When do you use quotation marks? Use a comma to introduce a quotation after a standard dialogue tag, a brief introductory phrase, or a dependent clause. Put commas and periods within quotation marks. Place colons and semicolons outside closed quotation marks. Place a question mark or exclamation point within closing quotation marks if the punctuation applies to the quotation itself. Place the punctuation outside the closing quotation mark if the punctuation applies to the whole sentence. I hope this presentation was helpful and provided beneficial information as it pertained to the use of quotes. Thank you for listening.